think that we were gonna stop? Did you really think that we were gonna quit? Did you really think that we were gonna forget the sounds of the change and the cracks of the whip? Did you really?
So you were talking also, you had brought up something recently about the whole thing with the COVID, that this was a time and a period where we could have actually been doing some detoxing and some healing.
Read that paragraph that we looked at, and I think it was the second paragraph in the 15, picture 15, and definitely a specific time to do that. I think was during the COVID-19 situation.
Correct. So it says what he was about to learn was sometimes you must detach yourself from everything you used to be in order to become who you should be. It is not enough that he is isolated in a room going through a spiritual metamorphosis, but he must find a sure and secure place in his mind if he is to fly to the heights of his destiny.
Now, I believe, what's crazy is I wrote the movie, Divided Nation, the movie script in 2003. I wrote the book in 2005. And here it is today, as relevant today as it was when I wrote it. That particular excerpt that you read. Because to me, I'm looking at COVID-19 stay in place order. Raymond is in his room. The Godfather have him in this room for 40 days. And Raymond had to now go through this process of looking within inside of himself, detaching himself from people, place, and things. Right. So I think that COVID-19 stay in place order from a symbolic point of view and spiritual point of view was a call for us to detach ourselves from certain things. And ready for this? What is one of the number one things or events or places, for that matter, that you think that we are attached to when it comes to life in general? Take your time.
That we are attached to?
Yeah. A place, an event that we are attached to that we deal with. Most people, not just some of us, most people. And that is our jobs.
Yeah.
We spend more time at work than we probably spend any other place.
Else. Correct.
8 hours or more. 8 hours or more we're spending. We don't spend that much time at home. Watch this. Because when we get home from work, like I said, we want to eat, take care of the kids or interact with our spouse, and then we're going to sleep to do the same thing again. So we may spend more time at home, but we're spending less time socializing, interacting. We sleep for the most of that time.
Correct.
And we're getting up and we're awake. So
we're preparing for the next day.
To do what?
To go back
to go to work.
To go back to work.
Absolutely. Which means we probably spend more time at work. So it's not a coincidence that we had a stay-home order and only people that was considered
essential
couldn't go to work.
Correct.
And people are still not going to work. Some people are kind of somewhat going back to work. They working from home. The schooling was from home. And so everything was like stay in place. Why? To give yourself time to detach from the mundane life and these technologies and A, B, C, and D. Right? So you can find a secure place. And most of the time, our secure place is where? Home. All right. Home. Our secure place is home, but we spend more time in the work field. Look at that oxymoron. So the stay in place order suggests that, hey, go home, start looking within inside yourself so we can focus on how to detach ourselves from things that's unnecessary. Making sense?
Yes. Also, I was thinking how Raymond, in this place of not having nothing, no TV, we struggle as a people, period, with silence.
Wow.
or being still,
Right.
because then we have to confront those thoughts.
Wow.
So if we're constantly listening to Netflix or watching Netflix or listening to the radio or whatever we're doing, is because we're trying to escape. Because silence, when you're quiet,
Right.
you it's time to your thinking or your thoughts. And a
Right.
lot of times we continue to go because we
Right.
don't want to actually deal with
Right.
that silence. Even to like reading
That's
this
true.
book, even to reading this, I was sharing that it's making me think. It's like it's tapping into some parts of me
Right.
to deal with some things that, we look at it. If you look at it supernaturally, I'm actually seeing things that is actually tapping into me on the inside that I'm having to like, wow, I didn't see that.
Right.
I need to address that, or I
Right.
need to slow down. So that silence of not the TV, not the radio, not the all those things that we constantly feel like we got to keep doing. Even sometimes gospel music, just shutting everything out and actually taking time to listen to that inner voice, that inner self. We avoid that.
Absolutely. We do. One of the signs that we don't want, one of the signs that we do want to deal with ourselves is the fact that we don't want to spend time with ourselves.
Wow.
So when the Godfather understood that once I put Raymond in a place away from the crowd, away from the people, places and things, he's going to have to deal with the very person he may have been running from all his life, and that is himself. To really look at his purpose, his dreams, his ideas, his voice.
Correct. That's what I just heard.
Yeah, his
Right.
voice, his thoughts. We'd be surprised that most of the time we have the corporate voice.
Correct.
We have the our supervisor's voice. We have the coworker voice. We have our best friend voice. We really haven't identified our
Correct.
own voice, and so the Godfather says, "Okay, let's focus on getting him by himself,
Correct.
so he can focus on knowing who he is
His true identity.
and his true identity, and getting this stuff out of his system."
That is so powerful, because I was even thinking about the significance of not having the TV and stuff, because that also shapes people's image and identity. Instead of, I want to look like this, or I want to act like this, or I want to move like this, because they're so ingrained in, entertainment or social media, that's why they need that healing and that detox to actually tap into who they truly are.
Right.
Because we are, even to just being shaped how people, what you were saying, how people want you to be, or want you to look, or want you to dress, or want you to think, instead of not being exactly who you are. That's powerful.
Right, and that's definitely
Wow.
important for us to understand that concept and who we are and what we should be doing. And so the caretaker is coming in now, and she discovered that Raymond is working out, and Raymond is doing his push-ups, and Raymond is basically getting in shape. He's using this time to not only detox himself, but to develop himself. So when I think about the African American community and the stages that the African American community is in, I think that we definitely have to prepare to get ourselves in shape for this particular move. We have to really kind of be on a health kick, so to speak, as a community, and get ready to eat right, get ready to work out, get ready to be not just mental and emotional and psychological, but also physical. And one of the things that I like about Miss Michelle Obama is that she was putting emphasis on that,
Correct.
and particularly for our children, the physical have to be part of
Definitely.
you reaching your purpose and you fulfilling your purpose. What do you think?
So with me being a nurse, been in the health field since I was 18, your health is so important because you can have ownership, have a business, but be totally out of shape. So how are you physically going to carry, even going to the next level, the highest level, and be unhealthy?
Right.
That doesn't even make any kind of sense.
Right.
So we can't just focus on the mental, but we got to focus on what we're actually putting into our body.
Right.
And the system, again, is designed for us not to really live a healthy life in
Right.
the African American community.
Right.
Because it's mostly chicken spots,
Right.
fried food,
Right.
and those type of things on every corner.
Right.
So educating our people on how to balance, because I'm not saying that you shouldn't have your cake and enjoy life, but there needs to be a balance
Absolutely.
with the fried foods and different things that we're putting into our body.
Absolutely.
Because how can you perform at your highest level, your greatest potential, if you're unhealthy?
Absolutely.
You know, it's
Absolutely.
no way possible.
Right.
Can I share something?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm listening to the audio on 50 Cent, and that's something that he is very big on, keeping himself physically fit. Because not keeping yourself, okay, when you exercise, it releases good endorphins. So that means those endorphins are not just helping you physically, but mentally. So exercising also helps you mentally. What you're eating is also helping you mentally. When they say what you put in you are what you eat,
Absolutely.
that is a fact.
Right.
So when we talk about African community unity, ownership, and global identity, your health is a big part of all of that.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And you just mentioned that you was listening to 50 Cent new audio book.
Yes.
And she's trying to get me to listen to it. I listened to some of it. I'm gonna, as an author, I try to stay as original as possible, but sound like a good read. And so I'm gonna listen to it. But working out is definitely something that we have to do. I try to stay on my grind. I try to lose
Definitely.
and gain and lose and gain. But what we're gonna have to do as a community is encourage each other to do that, motivate each other to do that. Once again, we have the coaches, we have the gyms, we have the coaches. And so, as I said before, I'm going to say it again, we have all the pieces on the community table. We just got to bring it together. So
Right.
if coaches are hearing this in our communities, athletic coaches are hearing this, this will be, this is your call to say, hey, how can we create a system where we are motivating the African American community to get into the physical shape as just as much as we're talking about mental health, right? Because once again, to go to this level that we're talking about, we're going to have to be physically in shape. And so the caretaker comes in and she see Raymond's working out, and she get on the ground with Raymond and start doing push-ups with Raymond, because she is not just focusing on, I'm going to teach you something, but can't get down with you. I'm going to be your teacher and be your professor, but I can't get sweaty with you and get down to work. And that's the type of caretaker we need. We need a caretaker that is willing to say, hey, I'm gonna get down with the struggle with you. I'm gonna work out with you. You know, I'm going to get sweaty. I'm going to, whatever it takes to help you and to motivate you to get you to the next level.
Correct.
I'm going to do that, because we have so many coaches, quote unquote, and teachers, quote unquote, that can tell us what to do, but they can't participate and show us what to do.
Correct.
I think that's what the sign and symbol is here. I'm not just talking to you. I'm not just going to tell you, but I'm going to show you. What do you think about that?
Something that came to my mind too was that I'm thinking going back to health. I'm going back to health because what you were saying is that so many people say things, but they are not an example. They're telling you what you should do, but they are not an example themselves.
Right.
But I wanted to kind of deviate and go to something else that we talked about.
Okay, go
Is
ahead.
that good? Okay.
Yep.
Before we run out of time. I want to read a little something that's in the book real quick. It says, before you can put new things in, you must get the old things out of you. You're a preacher's son. I know you understand about putting new wine into an old bottle, but what the results will be, the caretaker says. This is the caretaker talking to Raymond. Oh, there you go, Raymond answers. That's right, Mr. Jackson. The new wine will blow out the old bottles, and both will destroy the new with the old, says the caretaker.
Right.
Can you kind of touch on, that's a powerful
Right.
statement.
Right. In the process of Raymond detoxing himself or going through this detox process, he is removing all of the old in order to place in the new. And we must do that. We have to remove the old. We can't put the old system, the new information, new ideas, new concept in the old system, right? It's going to ruin it. It's going to ferment, and it's going to grow and going to expand. And the old system is going to be destroyed. And then the new system also, or the new ideas and new concepts, going to be destroyed. So how did that look? That looked like rioting. It looked like the old generation bucking against the new generation, right? And so we have to be very careful. How do we contain new ideas and new concepts, right? It's a new day with new ideas and new concepts. How do we contain? We're talking about it right here. We're trying to create a new container, right, for the expansion of the African American community, the African American community going to another level. So we can't. I hate to say this because I know it's going to open up a whole different conversation. Tradition and customs are killing us. Traditions and customs are the death or the weed that chokes out new ideas and new concept, because people say we haven't done it like this before.
Correct.
This haven't been tried. This haven't been true. So we can't go through that process. We want to stay comfortable. We want to stay convenient. We want to make sure everything is safe. You know what I'm saying? But every idea that makes it and achieve and accomplish, you have to take a risk. You have to take a chance on it, right? So the idea is the wine. The old bottle or the old wineskin is traditions and customs, right? And so that's what we have to look at. Old institutions that have old ideas and old concepts that's trying to destroy the new ideas of students that coming with a new passion, a new concept. Did I answer your question a little bit?
Ask me, yes.
Sure. You thinking about something?
No, because I am thinking. My mind is.
What you think about?
My mind.
What you think about?
No. I was thinking when you were talking about the new concepts, because so many times when things happen, we march.
Right.
So that's what kind of jumped on. I thought you was going to kind of go there, but about that same tradition. So
Right.
we come together, we march,
Right.
but we don't put anything in place before or after the march.
Right.
Like a system or
Right.
correct.
Right. I mean, and really, I wanted you to kind of expound on that, because the truth of the matter is we don't do that. We put too much energy in marching, protesting, and going against the mainstream system, where we're supposed to take that same identical energy and put it in creating systems. That system would be the new wine bottle for new wine, and this is what we're talking about here. I wrote a book called Getting It from the Root, and I really kind of deal with that. If we have systemic racism, if we saying systemic racism, it's in all facets of our country, then it have to be a system against a system. There can't be a system against an organization. We are good in organizing. We are good in coming up with different marching techniques and protesting techniques, but we fail to be good at creating a system that after the march, we can make significant progress. As far as I'm concerned, we're done with that marching. We're done with that protesting. Let's put that energy and let's put that money into creating a system, the same system that you're trying to protest. Forget that system. Create our own system. And let us put our energy and our money there and build that system up. And so if you want to go against the system, call your lawyers, call your accountants, let's sit at the table, system against system. And let's figure this thing out. But anytime that we are just organizing, it's going to be system against organization, and the system is going to crush the organization every single time. Every single time. So the new wine skin or the new bottle would be a system that the new ideas and the new passion can be poured into. Finally, Raymond asked a question as we wrap it up. Can he be do the caretaker think that he's going to reach the expectations of the Godfather and his father when he finished this process? And so what you think about that? Him asking that question, where you think that question come from?
I think that he is still going through the process. So that's probably some of his anxiety or his fear. But she knows that she knows for sure within herself, I believe that the process is going to work. She trusts the process and the Godfather that much that she doesn't even have to answer that question. But I think that's coming from some of his still having some of that old inside that he's maybe fearful, having some anxiety that is this going to really work?
Right.
Being shut away because he doesn't know. So it's still some of that. But we kind of touched on that before, that even though we're looking at it like we're looking at it on the outside, but internally things are changing. He is going through a metamorphosis.
Right.
Even by him asking these questions and stuff, we're looking at it like maybe in a negative way, but this is part of the process.
Right.
So he is changing on the inside, even though it looks like he's not.
Right.
But he's only 20 days in.
Right.
But in those 20 days, something is
taking place.
Right, it's taking place. And that's something, because we do that to each other sometimes.
Right.
We're looking at the outside, but
Right.
not knowing that something is breaking and changing and detoxing and healing on the inside.
Right. And like you said, he has to be confident in what they have created for him. And that's what we have to do. We have to create a system where people are confident that once the besieging process is over, we're going to be ready to go to the next level. And we're going to be ready to have that unity, have that ownership in a global identity.
And if you know anything about detoxing and healing, you're getting out poison. You're getting things out of your system. So your body, mentally and physically, are going to be going to different, like stages. A metamorphosis, different stages. Right. So this is just a part of the stage.
This is a part of the stage.
Yeah.
I understand that. I appreciate that. All right. Once again.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like your insight. Once again, we are at a closing of another great episode. I thank Tracy Knox for giving us her insight and helping us break down the divide. And we look forward to you getting your book. Listen, send us a letter, send us a text, send us an email. Let us know how you're enjoying this and how this is helping you. And if you have input or if you have insight, let us hear it so we can share it. And once again, we're breaking down the divide, and we're focusing on unity, ownership, and the global identity. And we're going to see you next time. Take care of yourself.